What's up, everybody? Welcome to Easy Call TV. Is me, the homie B. How's everyone doing today? Today we got a no jumper clip. Shout out to no jumper clips. We got Adam speaking on the feds coming to his house to try to collect information about the big U case. Oh, damn, it's a lot of content that been going on, man. Anyways, let's get right into it. Let's go.
You feel like you've affected what's going on with them right now?
Not really.
You don't?
Although I can speak on some very, very privileged information right now that I think is going to set the internet on fire because all right, let me break this down for you. Let me break down the last 24 or so hours of my life. So I, this morning, got a colonoscopy as a result of the fact that I, for a period of time, was suffering from a condition called colitis, in which your colon becomes infected and irritated, whatever. They wanted to do a colonoscopy. This is my second time doing it. Basically, it involves you don't eat any food for 24 hours. You take a bunch of meds that make you shit out every last ounce of water and shit inside your body, and then you go into the doctor's office. They put you to sleep. They take a camera. They put the camera inside of your butthole, which means, yes, I was booka booka today.
And Brick's very jealous.
By a large Samoan man. I don't know. I was locked up. I was knocked out, so I don't remember anything from it at all. I'm sorry, Brick. I know that this kind of goes against the nature of our relationship and everything. I wasn't supposed to let another dude hold me down like that while you were locked up. I'm so sorry. But I did that today. Anyway, yesterday, I'm sitting around the house, starving myself all day. I actually have a newfound appreciation for fasting because I do feel like I achieved some sort of mental clarity while I didn't eat food for a day.
Shouts to the monks.
But while I'm in my house, I'm playing poker on my computer, a guy comes to my front door, and I didn't actually even know, but my girl was communicating with him through the box in the front of our house with the camera. She texts me. She says, a dude is here from the FBI, and basically he's trying to serve you with a subpoena. And so she told him, like a ride or die would. She told him, Adam's not here, and he's off at work or whatever. I forget what she told him. And so I immediately hop on the line with my lawyer. I say, what should I do? I don't want to, handle this situation wrong. Over and over and over, I've sat down with rappers or whoever who tell me about situations in which they divulge too much information to the police or whoever, and it ended up coming back to bite them. Especially, something that comes to mind is like Hurricane Chris, who caught a body that was blatantly self-defense. Soon as the cops come, he airs out his whole situation and ends up coming back to haunt him because the state ends up trying him. So if he had not made all those statements to the cops right after he had killed this dude, then it for sure would have been a way easier case for him to beat. Now, that being said, I'm not really that worried because I know that I myself haven't been involved in any criminality, but I figured I would have my lawyer take care of it. So my lawyer reaches out to the guy who came to my door. She assures
Okay. What was the point of him talking about that shit in the beginning? I'm really trying to react to stay on topic, but I'm just like wondering. I go back to like, what the fuck was the point at the beginning? That's crazy, because I know the viral wave was looking at him like, what the fuck, you know? And because they were asking him about like, do you think that like you are part of the reason why these guys get locked up? And he just came out like that. I would have been confused too. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But anyway, I just wanted to say that. But yeah, let's react, man. Let's see what he got to say about why they came to the door and whatnot. Let's hear it.
me that she's going to be able to ask the FBI agent a handful of questions, and from that information be able to ascertain, is Adam in trouble? Is Adam going to be, forced to hand over a crazy amount of information? Because that was kind of lingering around in my head as like, God, this is going to be a huge pain in the ass if they want to confiscate all the computers and everything in here. We're going to have to buy a bunch of computers to use.
Where's the furnace
meantime.
set to start the furnace up, guys?
I don't know. I was considering that. I have not destroyed any information for the record. But this is the thing that my lawyer comes back to me with. She said the feds were interested in one thing and one thing only. Because in my head, I'm thinking they're going to want copies of the podcasts that Brick or Luce were on. They're going to want to make sure that there wasn't anything in those podcasts that was edited out. Now, anybody who knows me and No Jumper knows that we really don't like to edit things out. So the only stuff we're editing out is if it's like a 4-alarm fire, like, yo, we need to take this out. So I don't think there's ever been something that Break or Loose told us that they needed us to edit out. But the one thing that the feds wanted was the cease and desist from Big U to No Jumper, asking us to take down the episode in which Loose Cannon first made the explosive statements that suggested that Big U had previous knowledge of Nipsey Hussle's death. Now, that situation is very much outside of what was mentioned in the indictment. In the indictment, there's nothing about Nipsey. There's nothing about any of that stuff. So this to me is kind of massive because it makes me feel like, oh, the FBI is interested in what Big U's involvement in Nipsey's death might be, which to me seems gigantic. I don't know why that cease and desist is not going to help them prosecute Brick Baby or Loose Cannon or anybody else. But the fact that they're interested in that, to me, adds quite a bit of credibility to the argument that perhaps Nipsey Hussle's death was a more complicated situation than.
Wow. So they're basically just trying to add on to what Big U got going on right now, and trying to see if he was part of Nipsey's hustle, RP Nipsey's passing. They're gonna want that. They're gonna want to add on to the case and put this in his face because they already got Big U, man. They just want to add more time or see if he slips up and start telling on people like, look, bro, we read this, we got this on you now. What's next? Like you gonna rat? What you gonna do? Damn, it's crazy.
Than it appears to be.
Well, isn't that when this
They gave it
whole-
to him though.
Isn't
We did hand it over, yeah.
isn't this when
Of course
that
you did. You didn't think
that
he wasn't?
I mean, really, like,
So it's safe to say you the feds.
I'm happy to help the feds with talking about a document that
damn.
we have previously discussed on here over and over, and which doesn't implicate anybody that I know or whatever. It's not like I know about Big U doing something illegal. Big U did something perfectly legal by sending over a document to us asking us to remove a piece of content. Now, for the record, it doesn't mean that this means that there's a full scale investigation into Big U's involvement
So
in
you
this
don't
situation.
you don't feel like you played no part in them getting booked at all?
No,
Like
not really.
with the shit they set up here and you clipping it up. I mean, I get you live and people might be able to screen record, but some of the shit these niggas is saying, you sitting back, like even the feds probably like, I can't believe like these niggas is this dumb.
Well-
then you clip it up
I
to
mean,
reiterate what they said
my
instead of
attitude is basically if somebody comes on the podcast and they want to live their truth, they want to talk about the things that they've been through, then it's none of my business to dig through each podcast and figure out what's criminal, what might come back to get them. Because let's be real, this is hip hop where a huge percentage of people's lyrics, songs, etc., are basically putting them in the mix and acknowledging that they've been involved with crimes. And when I'm sitting,
So to add on to that, a lot of these guys that go on these podcasts, the ones, well, I'm just gonna speak on like the Loose Cannon and the Brick Baby. These guys go on a podcast, Brick Baby be peeled out, Loose Cannon just be a loose cannon, just saying whatever he want. Talk about robberies with Meek Mills. Brick Baby just be saying like what he did in the past or what he will do, and Kill Squad, all that types of shit will get you locked up, bro. These people, bro, they be watching this shit closely, bro. Especially if like you on their radar, they're gonna watch, they're gonna listen, they're gonna like, oh, this date back to this and that. You said what? Oh, you did that to who? Oh yeah, hold on, like we were looking into it. Okay, we're gonna add on to that. So at the end of the day, yes, Adam does ask questions about like what they did in the past, what they're beefing with, is the beef going on, oh, wouldn't it this, shit like that. I apologize for talking in circles, but let's just be real, man. This guy right here, Adam, he's gonna ask questions like any other podcaster, and it's up to you to decide what you say. It's not up to Adam. I already caught this guy. He looked filled out in there. But anyways, yeah, man. Like it's your choice, man. Like like just like behind a Vlad, behind a Say Cheese, behind a Cam Capone, you have the choice to to you have the choice to answer the questions, or you could say next question. You could duck them, dodge them. You can even walk out the room if you want. For all we know, you already got paid before the interview. Just if you ain't feeling it, just step out, bro. These guys sit on here and they just talk about it, get into detail, laugh about it, say it's content, and then allegedly, like the allegedly shit, like it only goes so far into where it seems like we don't know if that allegedly is allegedly anymore because you keep talking about it. So yeah, that's my final take on it though.
And Loose Cannon's saying, because keep in mind, this is my first time even understanding that Big U might have had any involvement in any street stuff still. When Loose Cannon's sitting there and saying, yeah, me and Big U went to this weed spot and we got all this money out of them, and then Big U didn't split the money up fairly and yada yada. I'm sitting there thinking, Big U's on that? Like, I had no idea that Big U would have been doing anything that could be considered extortion or payments for checking in, whatever.
Not a
In
guess.
retrospect, I feel a little naive since he did call his podcast that, and he was talking about the checking in process pretty openly.
He talked about
I
it
mean,
on,
like
the,
Brick.
Because
on the
at the end of
Breakfast
the
Club.
day, we see we understand the bottom line is the money. So at the end of the day, like you just said, if they come on here and you ask them certain questions and they're dumb enough to speak on that, yeah, it's partly their fault. But you don't think the questions you ask are strategically bringing certain things about it in?
Well, it's not like I could have even asked about that since I didn't know anything about that. They just started talking about
Well, like,
it.
who are y'all talking about?
It's-
No, look. See, me, I'm talking about Brick. Now, as far as guests that come on and willingly tell on themselves, that's 100% on them.
Okay,
I don't blame.
So
I don't blame platforms for dumbasses coming on the internet where the police are watching every platform everywhere and telling on crimes they committed. They're idiots.
understandable, but did you read Brick's indictment?
I'm not reading through none of that shit. But basically, what I'm saying is, regardless of if anything he said on this show was in the indictment or not, some of the shit he said, if that's my boy, like if my brother was to say some shit like that, hey, bro, you got to stop talking about shit like that. Or I'm not even putting it up. Like, nigga, you just said some federal shit. I'm going to edit that shit out before we put the clip out. I'm not just going to be like, oh, fuck it. It is what it is. He dumb enough to do it.
Yep, that's true. That's respect. Like I said, even though Adam does ask these questions, like Brick is one of his hosts on the show, he should have protected him better and kind of like clipped out some shit and not have it in there, and just have him like just saying whatever and getting the views up and feeding into it and knowing that something could happen, something like this can happen, and look where they're at now. But this guy Brick, he just be on there drugged out, man. He just be saying the craziest shit. And then, but you know, it's on Adam too because he just let it fly. He should just like take him, off camera, like, hey man, look, I know you on one right now. We're sober, and you say anything, but this could get back to you. You are saying this. My company, I built this from the ground up, and I'm at like million plus followers. People watch this, not just viewers and subscribers. Those people watch it. He should have told him that. But hey, I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, y'all. Easy Call TV. We out. Y'all was kicking it with me, the homie B. Like, comment, and subscribe. We on the road to 1K. Let's go.